doing, bud? It's great to see
Yeah,
you.
I'm so glad to see you. Look nice. I like
Yeah.
your haircut. You look
Oh,
good.
thank you. Just trying to live this Colorado life. So, real quickly, as we kind of jump into it now, just for the people that may not have seen your beautiful face before or heard that illustrious voice before, give people a quick rundown: who you are, what you do, where you're at, so people kind of know who they're getting into.
Okay. Long story short of it, yeah, she likes the Conquer shirt. Thank you. Uh, I have a gym in just outside of Chicago. It's O'Hare CrossFit. We've been open since November of 2010, so it's about 8.5 years at this point. I oversee day-to-day operations. I still love to get in the mix and coach classes. It's just something that I truly enjoy, and we have a membership of just over 200 members. We have a full-time staff, a couple part-time coaches and interns that really help make all this great. So I have that. I also own Conquer with my dear friend and mentor, Jason Leiden, out of CrossFit Milford. We combine to create a Conquer, which is programming for CrossFit athletes, lifestyle. We're also developing a lifestyle program as well for more of the functional bodybuilding arena as well. We do seminars, coaches education, and programming. We just really started getting that going earlier this year. We're super excited about everything that we have going with that. I do business coaching for 6 CrossFit gym owners worldwide. It was something that really started off as a hobby, much like me coaching CrossFit, and then over time I just developed a nice catalog of clients, and I help gym owners. What I would like to say more in the I'm not very the spreadsheet paperwork kind of guy. I teach you more of the things about developing people and teams and culture and entrepreneurs. For a lot of people, it's sometimes the things that you really can't measure, but make all the difference. I'm also the host of the Alpha Hippie podcast, which Sam has been with me a few times, both interviewing me and being a guest. And I also oversee the Alpha Hippie Masculine Mastery course, which is a 10-week program that we have developed to really help men just become great men and get on track and create a brotherhood of support just for our men out there that may need that as well. So I basically, every arena in the health and wellness space, and I'm part owner of Lifestyle Nutrition, which is a nutrition coaching company as well. We provide solutions for CrossFit affiliates as well as individuals and athletes. So across the spectrum, I've been able to develop as an entrepreneur in all of these areas.
I love it. And I love just how excited you are. If you guys aren't going to work every day as excited as Angelo is talking about what he gets to do every day, you're going to have to recheck that life, because you should be as happy as he is every day. But as we get into more of what he does, I think it's important to acknowledge that happiness, that level of excitement that you're coming to the table with right now hasn't always been your MO. You haven't always been the beacon of positivity. It's been a personal development journey that fitness has really given you. And I think that's why maybe that you feel so strongly about putting out really great information for everybody, because fitness has given you so much. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say that fitness, I believe fitness teaches you 2 of the most important self-development tools there are, and that's discipline and consistency. And that is, I think, one of the reasons I fell in love with fitness. And then it has allowed me to take my ability to do those strategies and put them in all areas of my life. And that's been able to pay off great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool to see that you have so many cool projects, working for you. Not only do you have O'Hare CrossFit running, but you've got Alpha Hippie, you've got Conquer, you've got Lifestyle Nutrition. And, a lot of times, I think a lot of people see all these opportunities in their business and like, oh, I could do that. I could move into that, or I could do that as well. But these other ventures wouldn't be successful. They wouldn't be great pieces of strategy for you to invest time in if the gym didn't get up and going in the first place. Like, that was the moniker of success that you needed to allow you the resources, not only financially, but also experience, to launch you into these other categories so you can have differentiation amongst the things that you do every day. Is that probably fair to say?
Yeah, I would attribute it to, Sam, like McDonald's when it first started. It was just hamburger, fries, and a drink. And that was like O'Hare CrossFit for me. It was my core competency. We got really good at that. I was able to create a life off that. I was able to create a life that allowed me to have freedom. And then once I had the resources and then I had freedom, I was able to start these other ventures. And that's why if you look at my sort of like my resume, these other ventures have all happened within the last 3.5 years. So it took me 4.5 years to grant me the resources and the freedom to really be able to do all of the things that I really want to do. So OCF was the first thing, and it's always our focus. It's something that I never want to take the eye off the ball, because the truth is too is all of these other endeavors that I've been able to get in have all channeled through OCF, meeting someone through CrossFit, having investment money through here, creating an opportunity for someone that works for me. It all funnels through here. It's like sort of the incubator for it all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think at the root level for you to be able to do all these things, like you said, the financial investment, and that really stems down from your ability to not only gain new clients at the gym, but also retain clients. And I know just in the feedback that you guys have given me throughout these surveys I've been putting out, attracting new clients, marketing to new clients, and selling new clients has been one of the biggest blockades in your personal businesses in terms of getting your online business up and going, or getting your in-person business up to a level to where you can put more effort into the online world, whether it's online coaching or it's info products or nutrition coaching, whatever that may be. Angelo, can you maybe talk a little bit about what your philosophy is around marketing, fitness business marketing, and not only attracting new clients, but then using those clients to build a culture and a community in your gym, so that way it helps the churn rate and really helps keep the retention really high for your business?
Sure. So first, if I wasn't in the fitness industry, I would probably be in the restaurant industry. I love fine dining. I love the dining experience. And so, did I lose you for a sec?
Yeah, I just maybe start that one over because Wi-Fi kicked out for a second.
That's okay. So I attribute a lot of the things that I do, there are a lot of tactics that I believe are in the fine dining industry into the fitness industry. I think we're very similar when it comes to service and hospitality. I think that's the most important thing that I focus on. And one day I was having a conversation with my team, and I said, name your favorite restaurant. And in Chicago, there's a lot of great restaurants, Maple and Ash, Gibson's, it all went around. And I said, when was the last time they called you to come in? And they said, never. And I said, why? And I said, because they over-deliver every single experience that you could possibly have with you, so they don't need to be up your ass when you're not there. Mm-hmm. And that's like my biggest thing. It's like when someone comes in this door, I know at that moment I have their attention. I don't know if you're going to read my email. I don't know if you're going to see, because of a Facebook algorithm, you're going to see what I just posted. So I need to over-deliver in that moment, because that is truly the only time that I can control. And that is like, I'm a psycho about it. Like, I mean, we just had a meeting about it the other day. Like, I have like 5-star experience and OCF standards. And this is the way we really greet and work with people. Very similar to what like the Ritz-Carlton does or Disney World, how people have these amazing experiences every time they go there. And that's what I'm really after. And so for me, when it comes to really delivering our service, it's how great of a connection can we make with this person as soon as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. How does the online experience differentiate from the in-person experience? Because you do both, and yes, they are similar, but it's also like you can't reach out and touch the person online. So how do you make that same experience come across digitally?
That's a great question. So what we try to do, especially with things with like Conquer, is we create a lot of different separate groups, Facebook groups, groups for coaches, groups for athletes. And we're constantly trying to interact there in the day, right? And like it's really a matter of getting people's attention. If you really want to break it down, is how can we get people's attention? And then when we have it, how can we over deliver or add value to their experience? Mm-hmm. And it is extremely, it's probably the biggest challenge for anyone in this online space, but it's something that we really focus on. So when people are joining Conquer, one of the things that we do with Conquer, if you purchase any program that involves you getting coached, I take a call with you no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I just want a face past the mouse click. I want you to know who we are. I want you to feel comfortable. Hell, I want you to call me Ange. Like, I just want you to know that like we're with you and that we're here to make this as best as we possibly can. We're just a group of humans trying to give you a service, and you're just a human trying to get it from us. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to bridge that as much as we possibly can. So honestly, Sam, I drive myself a little crazy with a lot of these extra phone calls and questionnaires with people. But at the end of the day, I think you can't fake a real good CRM sometimes. And you got to just put in the work. And it's not the prettiest thing, but like I was telling I was telling my team this yesterday at O'Hare CrossFit, and it works in any business, is how amazing is that one day you created a business that was going to serve someone in fitness, and they felt that you were worthy enough to get their business. And for me, like, that's worth a text message. That's worth you having my cell phone number. That's worth you going in my Facebook group and or being my friend on Instagram and all of that stuff. Like, it's such an honor. And I think a lot of times it's really easy when we're trying to grow a business, when we got a lot of other things going on, to not act like this is the most important thing. But for me, I don't care what system you have. I don't care if you have QuickBooks. I don't care if you have an accountant to help you save $20 million. If you don't have the people, you got shit.
Absolutely.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? And so I try to take the humanness and bring it in as much as we possibly do. I make videos for just about almost all of my communication. I want you to see my emotion, my face. I want you to feel what I'm doing. I want there to be context in as much situations as possible.
And how often, how many messages, and I know you get a bunch, do you get from your clients that tell you, like, you know what the difference between me going to the gym down the street and me coming to you was, or whatever experience you're working with them on, is that personal touch, that extra video message, that text message, that as you say, that value add, that going the extra. That's what separates you. It's not your new glute ham raise. It's not that you use, you know, Microsoft's Excel versus TrueCoach. Not that we love that you all are part of TrueCoach and use the platform, but like, that's a tool. Right? We can't replace your ability to deliver an amazing experience to your clients. We just want to help make it easier, right?
Yep. So I got to tell you this, Sam, this is no more prevalent than when we make a mistake. And I think that's the real litmus test, if there's a connection. If there's a connection and I make a mistake, the first thing is this. If me and you are friends and you're a client or we have a connection, I could walk up to you and go, Sam, I am really sorry, because you know my intentions, and say, Sam, we messed up on your billing. In 2 days, you're going to see a refund. I'm so sorry about this. Please excuse us. We were changing billing systems. Instead of you making 87 assumptions, avoiding the conversation, and then having you come at me about it. Like, I could have that conversation with my people. I could jump in front of things. And because you and I have context and a connection, you know I'm with you, right? You know that I'm not here just to take your money. I'm here to make you better. You know what I mean? And I think once you have that, that's the most valuable thing in business, because we're all going to make mistakes. One day my internet's not going to work and I'm going to not be able to get on the call, or my wife is going to need something and I'm not going to be able to be here. But if I'm putting in work from the very second that I possibly can in developing a real solid foundation of trust and connection, everything else works itself out. Yeah.
So for you, I mean, you're so focused on selling value and selling connection to, doesn't matter if it's digital or it doesn't matter if it's OCF. What does that sales cycle look like? Because I know so many people, they struggle in this game because they're like, I'm such a good trainer, but I just hate selling. I hate being that guy. I hate coming across salesy. How do you sound so authentic? How do you make it sound like you got their best interest in play, but still present the sale without them feeling like they're buying a refrigerator? Like, everybody has to have a refrigerator these days, but no one wants to spend the $800 on a fridge. It sucks. It makes you feel like crap, right? But you've done such a great job and done it at such a level that, man, you, like, businesses are up and running and you're able to launch because you take that care. What does that sales cycle look like for you and your team?
It's a great question. The first thing is this, is I don't really think it's sales. It's, you have a problem, I have a solution, and I have to talk you out of getting you out of your own way so I could give it to you. And your money is just your form of commitment, because that's all I have on you right now. And that's how I really look at this. Like, it's all, it's a coach to athlete, coach to person relationship. Like, I'm here to guide you. And right now I have some certifications. I have years of experience. So you trust me, but now you give me a little bit of money so I know that you got skin in the game, and off we go. And to me, it's always like, if we don't have the solution for what you would like here or at Conquer or anything like that, I will gladly refer you to someone else before I will ever try to sell you something that I don't genuinely in my heart think fits you. And for me, it's just like that. You come to me with a problem or a challenge, and I hope that one of my solutions is able to fit your problem. And I'm going to tell you about it. That's all it really is. I don't think it needs to be anything more than that, and just helping people sometimes genuinely get out of their own way to doing this. Because I think what all of us need to remember is if the person coming to you could have lost the weight without you, I'm sure they already would have. So they already are technically their worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at it as, okay, Sam comes to me, he knows he has a problem, but he doesn't have the tools to do it. So I'm going to talk to him about the tools that I have that could be a solution to this problem. If they feel good to Sam, I'm going to show him how they work. He's going to work with me. If they don't feel good and he's not like ready to jump with that, then that's just kind of the situation.
Yeah. How do you install that into a team? You know, it's one thing because like you and I kind of naturally do this. This is just our style.
Yeah.
But getting a team to implement the same strategy, especially when they don't have the same personality or they haven't walked the same path that we walked on, can make it tough because they haven't had that perspective that's given us that skill to be that, communicate in that way. How do you translate this message to your teams?
Well, that's a great question, Sam. The first thing I do, if anyone is going to take over a sales role for me in any of my business ventures, I give them the book To Sell Is Human. I think it's Daniel Pink. I want to say he's the author, but it's basically helping people get past this idea that they're sitting in the bathroom combing their hair about to sell someone the 97 Ford Mustang that nobody wants. Like, I think that's what we think sales is, right?
Yeah.
And it gets people past the thing. It's like this. If you've ever been on a date with someone, to get on that date, you sold yourself. To go on the second date, you had to sell yourself again. We are constantly selling ourselves, but we don't look at it as a sales transaction. We're always doing it. When I first met you, I was selling you on me and you were selling me on you, and we found out that we liked each other, and that was that.
Totally.
And so I think what people need to do is help people get past that. And especially you coaches out there, if you really want to help people and you want to help a lot of people, you cannot not do this. It is impossible, because at the end of the day, your competitor, and I don't mean this in like a scarcity mindset, but your competitor, the one that you think isn't selling the things as justly and as right as you, is a better salesperson than you, and that's why they're really winning. So why don't you pair up being a good salesperson with your amazing product so you can make a real difference?
I think you touched on a really good point. I think a lot of times we look out in the market, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and it's really easy to dog the person that we don't like. How dare they put this content out? Why would they even say this message? And it may not even be that great of information, but are they hurting anybody? Like, at the end of the day, like, we all have different experiences. We all have different backgrounds. Right. And there's a fine line between putting out shitty content that is not valuable for people and then putting out content that maybe you just don't necessarily resonate with. Right. But at the end of the day, you know, you really got to focus on, you know, just what's your mission? And that's going out and helping others. Right. At whatever access you have, because the offering I could give to my clients when I was a brand new trainer at 22, right, is far different than the value I can add to a client now at 32 with 10 years of experience and getting my shit kicked for a while. Right. And so, like, to be honest, guys, like, I would probably hate myself. If I saw my 22-year-old self training someone, I'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, he is awful. Really? That's your solution to that? What, like, but now it's like, and no one got hurt, and everybody, I still have great relationships. I just went to New York this last weekend to surprise one of my clients for her baby shower. Right. And I haven't trained her since 2014. Right. And it's like, to be able to still have those relationships. And I think that's where, you know, going into your sales strategy, as Angelo is talking about, building a relationship on the front end. So when there is something that needs to be addressed, like a payment issue, it's never an issue. Like, you just come and talk to them. It's like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, you guys want your clients getting to the point where they're like, I think I'm out of sessions. I need to re-up again. And you're like, oh yeah, I don't even have to bring it up. Yeah. Right. And like, that's the best part. Or it's like, can I do 3 days a week instead of 2 days a week? Yes, you can. Right. Like, and I think that's what's allowed you to build this business so well as teaching others how to do it. So a little background, guys. I met Angelo at the Barbell Business Mastermind a few years ago. And he was in the mix. They just launched this new coaching platform, and you were coaching what, 150 coaches.
There's like over 100 gym owners at one time. I had a very hard life at one time.
And he's like head down in emails all day. And our friend John was like, you and Angelo will get along really well. And Angelo was just buried in his computer this entire weekend. And so finally there was an opportunity where he was sitting by himself eating. So instead of sitting with whoever, I went and sat next to him and kind of just forced my relationship on him. And now he's one of my dearest friends. And so we get to sit here doing that. But now, looking at, how you were able to do that and teach all these others, because everybody's got different business models, right? OCF has got a very different feel than Johnny B down the street and Susie Q down the road. How do you help so many different businesses when it's not the same model, whether it's semi-private versus one-on-one or group or whatever that is? What's going through your head, or how do you attack helping coaches improve their businesses?
Sure. The first thing is I help them understand who is their client. Like, who are we really after? I think that's the one thing that in the fitness industry that is provides us more camaraderie than anything is most people are not chasing the same person, even though we think we are. And so my messaging, even from company to company or you know what I mean, marketing plan to marketing plan, is speaking directly to that person. If I want 40-year-old moms, I'm putting out videos that look like 40-year-old moms. I'm putting out words that 40-year-old moms resonate with. I'm using words like tone instead of jacked. Like, it's every little thing. First is the messaging, and I want my people or my potential clients to know and feel that they're understood. The truth is if you are not fitting that demographic, it really doesn't matter to me if you feel understood, and it shouldn't. It's about, okay, I'm after this client, this is there. The next thing is that you're trying to understand your service and how that could work for that client and who you're really after. Like, there's some people too that is more in the personal training business and things like that. You are probably best bet looking for someone that makes probably over 70 grand a year if you want to sell PT without trying to bury someone. If somebody makes 30,000 a year and they're buying PT, they're most likely just going in heavy debt. They're really not probably going to re-up. Right? And you're just getting to know that client. You're putting out content that meets that client. You're going to places or getting in groups or local groups that those people are at. Like, if I want 40-year-old moms, I'm busting my ass to make a Lululemon partnership.
Yeah.
And I'm putting work into that. And if I'm doing it digitally, you could get involved with groups digitally. It is the same thing. These Facebook groups, there's a Facebook group for just about anything that you could think of, and people around in your area and demographic and stuff like that. And so I think it's really a lot to know your client and then find out where they are and then begin interacting with them and just helping them and adding value to them and really providing them with solutions to things that they really need right now. And I think for a lot of gym owners and personal trainers and anything like that, any coaches out there, we get impatient. We want to go and help somebody on Tuesday, and Wednesday they should be members, or we messed up, right? I think what you got to realize is this is a numbers game and also sort of like a karma game. Go out there, spread as much goodness to people as absolutely possible. I am willing to bet that you're going to wind up on top, but you have to do it a lot. You probably do it more than you really want to know at first, but then eventually all of that momentum just feeds you right through.
Yeah. Well, how do you balance adding value and trying to drive new awareness to your brand or your business or your services, but at the same time still valuing what your time is worth, right?
Sure.
Like, how do you balance that, and how do you know when to like, okay, like I can no longer do all these things for free, like I've got to charge for my time, right? So when do you make that call, or is there a certain time in the business? Is it like you get a big red flag that tells you when to do it, or what's that look like for you in your eyes?
I still do free work. There's a place that I grew up in that gave me discounts on kettlebells when I was starting out that I didn't have much. I still go do free kettlebell seminars twice a year when they ask. Awesome. And I think you got to get past all that. Like, don't get me wrong. I hope everyone eats. I want you to have enough. But after that, guys, it's just like, you got to remember who you are and who took care of you and who didn't take care of you. And also, too, passing along the gifts that you've been given. And I think you should constantly be giving back to people and adding value. I don't think there should be a day when it's transactional. The day that it becomes only transactional, I think it becomes fake. I think you get out of like the main reasoning for it. So I still find time to do it. I don't know if that's the right or wrong answer, but for me too, Sam, I want my pocket and my heart to feel good, not just one or the other.
Yeah, yeah. You know, for you, I mean, you've been the typical work too much, bury yourself in the ground, you know, work all day on the computer all night, emails, text messages, social media, you know, whatever. And now you found yourself in this round of life where you've been able to find better balance. And you have an amazing wife that you get to go do amazing trips and do cool things with. You have an awesome staff. You have great businesses and partnerships and friendships all around the world. How did you get to that point where you were able to find balance in your life?
This is so funny that you say this. The work never ends. People are still fucking shit up. I'm going to fix something as soon as I get off this call. Like, it never ends, right? And knowing that it never ends just allows me, when I get home, to put the phone on airplane mode. And on Sundays, I put the phone on airplane mode. Why? Because sure, am I waking up Monday with 10 more emails than I already had? Yeah, but what's the difference? It's already going to be there. I'm always going to catch up. And I think for a long time as a young man, I thought I was going to be able to outrun the game. I really believed that I would wake up one day and there wouldn't be notifications up my ass and all of those things. Like, I really subscribed to that at one point of my life. I thought you worked really, really hard, and then you literally got to a point where there would be no turbulence. And I think what you just have to do is you need to realize that the turbulence is never really going to end. So you might as well put yourself in the position to be the best version of yourself to deal with the turbulence instead of not. And so that's why I've been able to take these breaks and realize that. And the other thing too, Sam, is I like to work. There's no doubt about it. It takes up the majority of my life. But at the same time, my relationships really matter to me. That is like the true wealth of my life. Me, and this is something too, if you're a personal trainer or coach, this is a big deal. You have to work out and take care of your body. I just left jujitsu, but like, you have to do things to take care of you, and that's super important. And so, like, relationships, myself, and work, they're all a part of everything. And don't get me wrong, work is probably still a bigger percentage than most, but I'm also in the point of my life where I'm doing a lot of things. But like, having an idea that your work is never really going to end unless you really choose it to. You're going to always grow and develop. There's going to be new problems. There's going to be new challenges. And the thing that you need to do is you need to be the best version of yourself to face those challenges. You don't need to be the strung out version of yourself. I think that's a huge lesson, you know, and even for me, like, hearing it out loud from someone else is like, oh yeah, there's never a rat race that you get to where everything stops. Love it.
Right? Like, you're always going to wake up to emails. You're always going to wake up to fires. Right? So the quicker you can wrap your head around that and then focus on, all right, controlling the variables that you can control and adding value and managing relationships, everything else seems to take care of itself. Right?
For sure.
It seems like you've really built a business around, you know, meeting people where they're at, as opposed to, like, sure, you have your ideas around training and your initiatives and things that you want people to know. Like, you would love for them all to snatch and squat and whatever. But like, there's people who just aren't ready for that. And there's people who aren't ready for hardcore paleo or keto, or if it fits your macros or whatever else. And so it sounds like you've really been able to, it's not a custom experience every single time, but it's an experience to where you've been able to help everybody feel like they can come in and not feel out of place. And you've been really able to take your ego out of the game and really make it about others. Is that fair to say?
I try my best. Like, I hope everyone watching this is a work in progress, but I think that everyone needs to come to the agreement that as much as programs are linear, humans aren't. So you better embrace this chaotic dance that is a human, or start selling the dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Absolutely.
fuck. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, nobody moves like this. It's like this. And if you're not able to ride those waves with them, you're going to be resistant to the waves, and that's when you're going to drive yourself nuts.
Interesting. At what point did you figure out you were driving yourself nuts, and how did you get out of that hole?
First thing I did is I really started looking at myself and really taking a look at, are the things that trigger that come up for me about the business that stress me out, Are they business stresses, or are they because I don't have the tools to deal with my own needs and feelings?
Mm-hmm.
That was like by far like the biggest thing, right? Like a lot of the things that I was like really bothering me really had to do with my lack as a man, not O'Hare CrossFit or the business. Like the business was fine. And on it really, a lot of the things that I was focusing on were more of my little hangups than necessarily business. And I think that a lot of small business owners can relate to this is your business picks up your bad habits.
Mm.
And your good ones. I mean, it really emulates you in many, many ways. And so if there's something struggling with your business, I'm willing to bet the first thing that you need to do is you need to cure yourself of it first.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's huge. I think so many people are in this spot where, especially people are joining on these calls and air these lives, and it's because they're in a spot in their business that they wanted to improve, right? Because if your business is exactly where you want it, you're probably not spending an hour just chatting with us, which is not that we wouldn't want you to, but you're probably not looking for those sort of solutions, right? And so, really being able to look at like, okay, well, if everybody's in this spot where business is going okay, I've got clients, I may not have the amount of clients I want, or I'm not charging the amount that I want, or I'm not, scaling the way I want. I'm not taking vacations. I'm not whatever that moniker of success is to you. I think that's a really important thing for us to like. How do you know that you're in a spot where you're happy? Is it because you can take your girlfriend out to dinner every week, or is it because you can take a vacation? Is it because you have X amount in your bank account? Whatever that is. But for you, looking at your business over the years, how were you able to build such a robust business, going through some of the shit that you've been able to go through, right? Because OCF's in a great spot now, and it's great to be able to look on it, but it hasn't always been rainbows and butterflies. Like I'm sure there was plenty of days you wanted to put your head through that brick wall.
No doubt. Hey, Bart. He said hello. Hello, Bart. So for me, I think you need to look at every person that you hire, especially in the very beginning, as an investment.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to treat them like they're an investment. And then also, too, realizing that everything that happens in the business is about all the people coming together to make it work. And so I've been just fortunate enough that I've had great people that have wanted to be with me that I can't, like I've had the first person I've ever hired full-time, she works for me part-time now because we opened another business and she has a kid. This is going 6.5 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I've been really good at helping people get what they want inside of this journey of getting what OCF wants.
Mm.
And I've been very cognizant of what other people have wanted. Much like that person I just referenced, she developed a nutrition program, which now became a business that we both own together. And like, it was because she really liked nutrition. And for me, I'm a coach first, Sam. I'm not a businessman. I'm a coach. Every person that walks in this door, I want them to be the best versions of themselves. That means the janitor, that means the client, and that means my team, and that means me. And so we're all working on this together. So a lot of the things I think we're all growing into as a team, it's because we're all growing together. We're not growing just me growing and then they're staying here. I see that a lot of times is like the leader is this super self-help, awesome entrepreneur doing all that stuff, but their people are not embracing any of that stuff. It's like they go get it, but they don't really bring it back. We start out our meetings at OCF. I read a page of the Tao of Leadership, and then we spend 5 minutes breathing together. I mean, and this is like just doing these little things, or like I had a Wim Hof thing just for my team, and like really doing things to make people feel like they're a part of a tribe and family. And I think that you could just create more together than you can separately.
Yeah. I think too, looking from the outside, you weren't out on a mission to try to build the next biggest brand or the sexiest brand ever. You were out to deliver a really high level service, and you've been able to break that down into different components or different offerings now. But I think right now, a lot of coaches, especially young, that are kind of in that median zone of, do I just work on getting busier and getting more, like selling my services or selling more sessions? Or do I work on building a brand that, people will recognize? They want to be the next Nike, the next Onnit, the next Precision Nutrition, the next, whatever it is. So how did you, was there did you have to make a conscious decision about this, or like what was your angle when you were building your business? And did you even notice it at the time?
Great question. I'll have to honestly say no. I didn't notice it at the time. I am, despite some of the downfalls of it, I'm just honest. I'm a very emotionally driven person. If it feels good, it's good. If it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel good. And so for a lot of things, for me, a lot of my decisions get based on what's going to make me feel like I'm never working. And that's the route I choose. Like, I want to always feel like this is play and this is fun and this is great, because then you already won. The goal, if you could make your day more play than not, you've already hit the goal that I believe we're all really after. It's just having fun, smiling, enjoying yourself. That's like the real life. Okay. Like, don't get me wrong. Do I wish we have a baby on the way? Do I wish I had more money in my bank account? Yeah. But like, is that going to be the source of my happiness? No. And so for me, I've always been this crazy, emotional, tantrum having, all honest human. And I use that, and I use my team's emotions to really gauge on how we're doing, like team synergy. And my thing is that. So if you, to go back to your question though, if I ever wanted a huge brand, I'll be completely honest with you, Sam. When I started this gym, I didn't want to be a loser in my family's eyes anymore. I didn't want to be a bust down, because who opens up in 2000, guys, just so everyone knows, in 2009 and 2010, I was a weirdo opening up a CrossFit gym in a fucking warehouse. I was not this business coach. Nobody gave a shit who I was, right? Like, okay, like, and that's the thing, like, for me, is I opened this to just create an identity for myself that I really wanted to be proud of as a man. And for me, this has become my greatest success, because if you hit delete on this life right now, I have no idea who I am. And this is just, so for me, I never wanted, did I want to be Nike and make really cool commercials and do all that? Yeah. But like, for me, more importantly is I found something like CrossFit that I lost almost 100 pounds doing. And I found something in my life that I felt that I could help people do, and they could live off, and they could feed off my energy, and I could really help them be better. And then at the time, I didn't really have anything going on with my life that I would deem worth proud of saying and everything like that. And I wanted to make my family proud. I wanted to make my father proud, my mother proud, me proud. Like, I really just wanted to be out of like, just feeling like I was just, I didn't graduate from college. Like, I had a lot of shame of little things like that. And so for me, it wasn't about being Nike. It was just about, I'm going to make something, and I'm going to have a life that I sustain of my own.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have so much going on. You have a couple different businesses. You've got an in-person business like a gym, which is a horrendous ongoing plethora of different situations you're always up against. Plus you've got a wife and a baby and your own personal development. You're constantly reading into how you can become a better man and a better father and coach and everything else. Let's talk about time management for a second. How do you make time for all of it?
Great question. Okay. A lot of people that I know have schedules, and they schedule things on their calendar, but they only schedule business. And I know that just stay with me here, because I know this could sound kind of weird that I actually schedule lunch with my wife. But what it really allows me to do, Sam, is I schedule everything. I schedule my self time, so for myself, that's any breathing, reading, self-development, meditation, journaling, all of that, I schedule that. Then I schedule time for my relationships, having lunch with my wife, seeing my friends, seeing my mother. I schedule it all. And then obviously I schedule my business things. And what it really has allowed for me is, when I'm done with this call, Sam, from 2 to 3 Central Time is my lunchtime with my wife. I know in my heart that that's where I'm supposed to be, and there is nothing else that I allow for that hour. And I know that my wife would rather have me from 2 to 5, but she gets an hour of all of me, and that's a lot better than I know a lot of people are doing in other situations. So I schedule my entire life, and don't get me wrong, I leave time for play and things for room like that, but like, I literally schedule all of these things. So I just know that in my brain, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. There's nothing else that matters right now, because if it did, it would be on my schedule.
For me, I'm someone that I'm trying to be better at time blocking and compartmentalizing my time. But there's often times that it feels very limiting. It feels like it's putting me in a box. and it doesn't allow me the freedom to be reactive, which is what I like to do.
Yeah.
But at the end, once you kind of get it going, it seems like it opens up more time for you, because now you kind of have a better schedule, a better grasp on how you manage your energy. Is that true, or how does that work for you?
I would say for sure, Sam, and here's really why. When I really sit down and zero in and have uninterrupted life, I probably do no more than 2 hours of work a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, uninterrupted, headphones on, doing programming, whatever. I get it done in probably 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for most people, you ask them how long they work today, they give you a story of how many hours people have worked.
Totally.
And so for me, like, it allows me to just get my stuff done, hyper focus on that, and then I have time to do everything else that I really, really want to do. Like, I make middle of the days so I've realized the older I've gotten, I love to do things that are physical and more like sports, not just like linear exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I go play basketball, I go do jujitsu, I go rock climbing. Like, I go find things, because now I have everything so structured, I could create more space to do all those things, because I know that I have time allotted me to do everything else. And so for me, I think it really helps you free things up. But there's also some people out there, I think, that the structure, too much structure, causes them to rebel. And I think what people need to do is I've been doing this now since probably 2000, or something similar to this, to 2016. So it's pretty much ingrained in my life. It's like a more or less. If you're new to this, start scheduling one thing in each area a day, and then let yourself go. Like give yourself a few layups to actually succeed in this, because for most people, the first thing they think of is that when they have structure like this, they think of school. And for most of us, this is what we think of school. And so you know what I mean? So like, it allows you to just start getting a little momentum and going, oh, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. Like, take your time with it. Just like you would progress with a client, you need to progress in some of these self-development things. Like, I've been doing this a while. When I first started doing this, I thought it was totally crazy. Thanks, Chris. I thought it was totally crazy to schedule your entire day. Yeah. I thought you just made you boring as fuck.
Totally.
Okay. And so it's like, you just got to do it a little bit piece by piece. And then you got to find out that it's not so bad. And then you add a little bit, and then you add a little bit. Like, think about it as it being a journey and just getting yourself better and better. And I got news for everybody. That's another journey that's never going to end, right? We're already sharpening this stuff. And so just pick one little thing at a time. And in the very beginning, lay up yourself for success, almost to the point where you can't miss. Because when you're creating a new habit, you need wins. You need W's. They don't even have to be big W's. You just need W's.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard because, like, you know, the whole concept of, if you just do this for 5 minutes a day, you know, you'll be perfect. You'll be optimized. You'll be whatever. And I'm like, bitch, if I did everything I was supposed to do for 5 minutes a day, I've got 97 hours of shit I'm supposed to do a day. Right. Yeah. Like, how did you choose? Like, how did you know what things to work on and when? Like, was there like meditation or journaling or gratitude or jiu-jitsu and hobbies or your wife, or like, how did you choose what pieces to do when, and then ultimately have it all?
Okay. My biggest focus and my idea of success, Sam, is to be in a position where the least amount of things trigger me in a day. Like, to me, that is like my goal in my life, is to be at the point where I could go through life and nothing deters me right either way. That is like my goal. And so the truth is one of the things that I deal with the most and struggle with the most, and still working on this, is anger, is my temper. And so I knew that when I got angry, it resulted in me not doing things that I was proud of, both personally and business. It's the truth. And so I started just seeking things first that would be helpful for that. And for me, that's where I learned how to meditate, is because it allowed me to not allow these kooky feelings that come up for me, that I think everyone's trying to rip off my family and I got to gut them in 20 seconds. Like, you're like a weirdo. And that's like the thing. And so meditation was first. And then as I got that down, and then I started digging deeper into my life and looking at things like journaling. And journaling for me has just been a wonder, because what it does is, to me, is it teaches you how to trust your intuition and be your own coach. Yeah. Because I think all we really are as coaches, when it really comes down to it, is we hold mirrors up to people. And you might as well teach yourself how to hold it up for yourself, because that's just how much faster you're going to be able to get past things. And so it's been like a little dance. Like the meditation was the first thing, and then journaling. Oh my God, I'm gonna journal for 5 minutes. Oh shit, here we go. And then I would journal, and then all of a sudden it was like, man, this 5 minutes is no big deal. I'm gonna take it up to 10 minutes today. I got some more things to do. And then it just became that way. And then the other thing that I got really good at doing is I forgave myself fast when I messed up in these new lifestyle choices. Like when I would just be like, oh God, I didn't meditate on a Sunday, and I would like try to beat myself up about it. I'm like, dude, this wasn't a part of your life. This isn't your normal structure of things. You missed it on a Sunday. You know what I mean? 3 out of 10 gets you in the Hall of Fame, for Christ's sake, in baseball. Let yourself go. And that's like, just like, you know what I mean? Letting that off the hook, you know?
Yeah. Now, it sounds like those lessons that you installed into helping your own personal development would carry over pretty well into your business. Is that fair to say?
Oh, it's the thing that has made anything work, in my opinion. Work well with other people, in my opinion.
So just like with your training businesses or your the way you operate and run your business, like finding low barrier or low resistant activities that you can start getting some wins in, to helping making your business a little bit more efficient each day. Maybe it's spending time crafting some blanket emails for people who reach out, or maybe it's scheduling time to make calls and follow up with clients that aren't with you anymore, like things like that. Or what do you think we could be doing? Like how would you break it down for someone from a business standpoint?
I think the simplest thing you could do is take your phone with you in the bathroom and text the client every time you go to the bathroom.
Oh.
So simple, it's so silly. It's like, you know what I mean? It's second. Yeah. And the thing that you have to do, though, is you have to be very specific when you're messaging them. Don't be like, hey, Sam, I saw you on the Facebook or Instagram the other day. You're looking great. You're like, no, you're like, hey, Sam, I saw you on Instagram. I love that new haircut. High and tight fades is the way to go. Thinking of you, brother. Having a great day, Ange. And like, making it where they really feel like you care. But if you're like, yeah, hope you're doing well, who cares?
Yeah.
Like make it real.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of my biggest pet peeves that I get is you know, I'm a pretty big networker. Like I love to communicate with a lot of different people, and I hate nothing more than when I hear from someone and it's like, God, the only time I ever hear from you is you asking me for a favor. Right? Like, it's the only time it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's, hey, would you promote this, or would you send this out to your network, or would you do this? And I'm like, man, like it's not about doing it, because I'm happy to do it. But at the same time, it's like the only time I ever get a message from you is, would you do something to help me? And it like just rubs me the wrong way. And I think that sometimes we do that with our training, our clients too, right? Like we make it feel so transactional because the only time we're talking to them is around like, hey, you got 5 squats tomorrow, you got this. And I get that not everybody is the most, like I want to be chummy with my clients and chat it up. But at the same time, like, man, these people are investing a lot of time and energy with you. So as you guys get ready to embark on this journey around trying to find ways to connect with your clients, because, you know, inevitably, whether you need sales, it's not a script. It's not a magic script that's going to get you more clients. It's not a magic Facebook ad. Like, sure, it all helps. But if you're not doing the things like Angelo is talking about and helping connect to the client and making it feel like you have nothing but their best intentions at play, then like you're not going to convert those sales anyway. And so, and then you won't be able to expand to any of the other offerings. So the quickest thing you can do is how well do you connect to people, and what is the landscape of that interaction? Is it you just asking for shit, or is it you trying to add value to what they're doing, and in turn you get something of value back? Does that seem like it's a pretty fair assessment of that?
100%. It's perfect.
Now, for you, you know, I teased this out to the community just on Instagram. You got to a really cool point in your business where you shut down membership for a period of time at the gym so you could work on the client experience, right? That doesn't mean that you're not taking new clients now, but you literally stopped taking new members to make your gym even better. Like, that sounds crazy as hell, right? What was going through your head at that time, and like, how did you justify, like, not, because it's like everybody wants more money coming in the door. You said it yourself, right? But how did you like make that decision as to like, hey, I'm going to do this because it's going to help me in the long run?
I think you got to really know who you are, Sam. And did you by chance watch the new Narcos, the one about Mexico?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there's the long story short, there's Narcos Mexico. And there's two guys. There's one guy, Juan Miguel, who's the real shot caller, and then there's this guy Rafa, who's the guy that figures out how to grow this best marijuana and figures out how to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the show, I think you've got to learn who you identify with. And for me, I'm not afraid to say this, Sam, I'm an artist. I want to make things beautiful as I could possibly make them, and I want to feel truly satisfied with my work. And for me, that's king for me. And I know that some people say, "Oh, no shit, you could say that now that like, you know, you have a little bit of you have income." Yeah, I get that. Like, go get enough that you could live your life, and then decide what is really more important to you. If you want to be the scaling business giant, then you go ahead and do that. For me, I want everything to be the best. I want it to be the absolute greatest, and I'm obsessed with it. And every time that I default from that and become the businessman, I fucking hate myself, and I kick myself in the ass every time. And this is what I am. And so there's good things about it, and there's some downsides to it as well. And so you just have to kind of decide that stuff. If you are more of that business minded, you want to scale and grow and do all that stuff, I think a lot of things sometimes get sacrificed there, and that's just a part of the game. For me, I want everything to be a grand slam. I want it to be, I don't want to go to the plate and ever hit a single. I have no desire. I'd rather strike out or swing for the fences. And that's why I made that decision. I mean, it was just something to try and really institute and see if, like, okay, if we weren't looking out, if one eye wasn't looking out, we were only looking in, would that make this better? You know, and really just trying to do all those things. Like, so for me, I'm more of an artist than I would say a businessman.
Yeah, I think that's so key to identify, right? Like, and the key thing, guys, I think he's also saying is like you still went out and got a business done. Like, you still built a business that you could play with these sort of strategies, right? Because if you're not in a comfortable spot financially, like, don't try to implement a bunch of new things that you think might make or break you, right? Like, do what you need to do so that way you can make the money that you need to make, so that way that's a stress not taken out of your life. Or are you saying maybe that fucking go for it, like, that you may not know if it's gonna work, like, you know what I mean? Because I think both can work, but like, what do you feel, or what would you advise to coaches? Like, go for it because it's weird, no one's doing it, or do what like is already making you money right now?
Great question. I think you got to go with you got to understand your risk tolerance. So at the time when I opened O'Hare CrossFit and did all this, I really had nothing to lose. I started this gym with $3,000, just so everyone's really aware. Okay, like I had nothing, and I had nothing to lose. Okay, like we made enough money to pay the bills, and then I just was under the impression it's this. Whoever is the best, if you're the best janitor, you make the most money. If you are the best basketball player, you make the most money. So I just wanted to be the best coach. And then I thought that I would be able to find a bunch of techie people to put it on a spreadsheet for me. Now, this is how I live my life, because I really didn't have much understanding of that. And that's also due to my low business acumen at the time. Now, if I did things, I would probably do them a little bit more with a little bit more stability in mind. But if you're just starting out and you want to be a trailblazer and you want to do it, like I was 26 or 25, like it was such an amazing time. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't care. You wanted to go there and you wanted to make your clients better, and everything else didn't matter. And sometimes that's a fault, right? Because I could have had business systems in place and maybe could have grown faster. 100%. It really is. But for me, I just didn't want to worry about the things I didn't know how to do. I just wanted to worry about the things that I knew how to do and did them really well.
That's amazing. I love that, it's like there hasn't been a perfect, landscape of how you've grown, and there wasn't someone holding your hand saying, here's the step-by-step, because right now we're in that space. Every day I'm getting a LinkedIn or a Facebook message or Instagram DM of like, how can I help your gym grow? I'm just like, I mean, I don't run a gym, so that's interesting that you went with that route. But like every day is like, I help you with ClickFunnels. I help you with Shopify. I help you with this, or I build your social, or I'm doing this and you're not doing this. And everybody's got a strategy to make your business grow. And like, you didn't have that. Like, that game is just now coming into play. And it's been a lot of trial and error, and it's been a lot of learning. It's been a lot of fucking up. right? And that teaches you just as much as success. If not, it teaches you way more of what you should be doing than what you're doing wrong. So for all of you that are listening and realize that like, oh, my business isn't at that point, or I don't know the solutions, or I don't know, right? Do the things that you can control. And that's being a really good human being, right? Connect with people, add value, and understanding what your risk tolerance is, and understanding what lifestyle you want to live, and things that you can do to get better. And notice we had nothing to do with talking about like, well, you have to have a website, you have to have ClickFunnels, you have to have this, and you have to have that, and you have to have all these skills. It's a living, breathing art form that you're consistently learning from day in, day out. And hopefully just getting the right guidance, like hopefully you guys are learning something from this live session, so that way you guys can make the impacts on your business, and you take one thing away from this that you can install into your business, and hopefully it gets better. And then you do something else and do something else. And then pretty soon you might have, 6 different businesses that you're working on, or ideas that you want to work on, but you have more time to spend it with the people that you love and do the things that you want to do. And you're not just buried by 9 million emails and 10,000 DMs and 6,000 notifications and whatever else. So, Angelo has really been a great resource for me and for others to be able to learn from. For you, where can people find you? How can they learn more from you? You've got the podcast, you've got the coaching groups, you've got O'Hare. Give people a quick rundown as how they can come stalk you and spend more time with you.
All right, beautiful. So anything related to like a CrossFit affiliate is O'Hare CrossFit. Like that's our gym. That's the number one, O'Hare CrossFit. Then and that's Instagram, Facebook, all the usuals. And then there's Conquer, which is at Conquer Athlete on Instagram. We're very active on Instagram. One of the things that Jason and I are really passionate about is creating coaches education. And so we created something called the Coaches Corner. And every week you get an email or you get a video from us just talking about something that we're focused on as coaches. It's a free resource. We just wanted to put something out there to help coaches. Yeah, this is like, all you do is you sign up your email. Every Wednesday you get an email from us. And then also there's a catalog. You could go look at any of the resources that you want. There's also Conquer, like for Conquer Athlete, for athletes and programming. There's a lot of stuff on there and training of CrossFit athletes and things like that. At Lifestyle Nutrition is our nutrition coaching. Becca heads that up. She's the person that I hired first. She's practically, I feel like she's like my daughter. She's the greatest. And so she's doing amazing work with that. And then there's Alpha Hippie. So there's at the Alpha Hippie is our podcast, is everything there. Every week I put out a show. I'm really passionate about people just being the best versions of themselves, creating better relationships, and just enjoying this ride, because I don't care if you're making $20 million or you're dead broke. You don't want to be pissed off anyways.
Totally.
I think we all could agree on that. And so I put out some stuff like that. I'm decently busy with my own personal Instagram. It's a mixture of reposting some things, and then also too, I have a fun sense of humor that I like to get out there every once in a while because life's too short not to laugh. So there you go.
Awesome. And I'm sure that he'd love for you guys all to pop into O'Hare and get a workout in and experience what his members love to do. So if you're in the Chicago area or you're going to be in Chicago, go check it out and go see Angelo, or do anything you can to put this guy into your life, because I'm very blessed to have him and honored that he makes so much time for me. And we don't want to hold him up because he's got dinner with his wife and or lunch with his wife, and really appreciate the time, brother. And hope you have an amazing day. And looking forward to seeing you again real soon.